Hey everybody, this is Frilioth and welcome to another Minecraft video on the Frilcraft server. Right, today we're going to have a bit more Minecraft Mansion Madness because I've still got stuff to do in the mansion. But before we do any of that, I want to thank you very much for the comments that I've been receiving for the videos so far. I really do appreciate the fact that you guys are watching them and enjoying what I do. It makes all this worthwhile. What I want to do first of all is just to update you on what I've done with the trading hall. Hey, look at that, we've got a green coat. Mate, you ain't staying there very long. I can tell you that for nothing. So I've updated the rails at the back. I've put a few signs on. Obviously I'm going to put, once I've done a bit of trading, I'm going to put up there what the trades are. And if they're not very good, we're going to get rid of you. We're going to get rid of you, mate. We are going to get rid of you. There are the buttons at the front that are going to activate the minecarts, the trapdoors that are going to flush off the villagers. What I realised whilst editing the last video was that, oh, I could have been disastrous, was that I need a bit of dirt. Okay, I'll use a bit of andesite instead. What I've been using comparators at the back there, behind the back of those detector rails. I've been using comparators, and it was pointed out to me quite a while ago that I don't actually need comparators there. I only need repeaters, and I'd forgotten, completely forgotten. And I went into autopilot and I just did comparators when you don't need them. So what I've done is I've ripped out, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, probably not going to be able to show you without ripping all of this out, but down underneath here, there used to be comparators. Now I've swapped them out for repeaters. They do exactly the same job, only slightly, the delay is slightly longer, but to be honest, that's nothing really. That's nothing you can't cope with. Uh-oh. Schoolboy errors washed away all my buttons. You see, water and redstone, and somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, and you get, it's a comedy of errors when I start messing about with things. So this is pretty much done now. Oh, the rails now, once the minecart comes down here, like I said, he now goes up here because these are slabs and not full blocks. He's not going to die. I don't know about here because I've got a slab above there. It'd be interesting. I've got oh no, it's a solid block. Is he going to get through there? He's going to get through there, isn't he? Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he'll get through there. And then he'll go up here, back onto this rail and back down onto there again. And this is where the babies come from. The babies go up. I'll show you that. I'll run upstairs and show you that now. But anyway, this is pretty much done, bar the shouting, as they say. Which basically means it's done. Apart from now, I just need to mess about getting the... Just got to mess about now sorting out the lever to either keep or dispose of the farmers, the villagers that are left. What I'm going to do today... Oh, I was going to show you the villager breeder, wasn't I? Oh, man, this has started off really poorly. You really ought to come up with some kind of plan, Frills, before you start doing these things. So there's a breeder there. I've moved the water source block from that side to that side, so now they'll flow off into this corner. They'll get picked up by the minecart. As you can see, it rocks backwards and forwards because it doesn't have the momentum to get up to that next powered rail until it's got a baby in it. As soon as it's got a baby in it, it's going to go up past the powered rail. It's going to activate that activator rail. That's going to activate that bit of dust, which is going to activate that repeater on 4 ticks, which is going to spit out another minecart. So once that's got a baby in it, it's going to go all the way up there, back down the other side, and go down into the trading hall. And then another minecart is dispensed. So far we've just had a baby. Where is he gone? Where's he gone? Where's he gone? Did you see him? had a baby and I missed it. I'm going to have to go down and look now, see what he was. Oh, while I'm up here, I'm also breeding chicken with my stoves as well. Crikey. So I've been breeding pigs and sheep and cows, and I've changed the filter at the back. It used to filter all of the raw meat straight into the furnace. I've now changed it. I've changed the items in the filters, so now the raw meat comes over and lands in these chests here. Because we've got a butcher, and obviously a butcher trades in raw meat, so I'm going to give him a go. What did we get? We got another farmer. Brilliant. So I'm going to trade with this butcher and see how well his trades are. If they're okay, then we'll keep him. If they're not, I'll go back to cooking food and he'll disappear, and we'll probably get librarians. We're going to probably fill this with librarians in the long run, aren't we? At the end of the day, maybe a few farmers. If we can get a decent pumpkin and melon farmer there, we might keep a farmer. So the job for today, I want to carry on working on my farm. And as you can see, since I've moved the breeder and turned it on, he is only farming in the naughty corner over here, which is what we expected. We expected that, but we're still getting crops. So nowhere near as many as we will do when we turn it off. But for the time being, we've got enough wheat to feed the cows and the sheep. Let's breed some more of these up while we're here. So Johnny's still having a field day. It's just we're not cooking anything. There they go, little fellas. Off to a better place. Not. Right, we've also got a half decent amount of carrots outside now, which I'm using to breed with my breeder and feed my pigs. So the quicker I get the carrot part of the farm working, the better. And the carrot part of the farm is going to be in here. Now I'm still not convinced, I'm still not sure within myself whether I want this to be on this level or whether I need it to be down a couple of levels. As you can see, that's the ceiling of that was sort of the top of the farm underneath. So I could build this farm I think I could build it one further down. Yeah, I could. We could have the redstone for the farm above it on here, and then we could have the dirt starting on this level here, because you only need one gap between the carrot farms and the potato farms. You only need one gap, because you don't need rails running about everywhere and unloading stations and everything. So I'm probably, and I may well change my mind, probably going to drop this down one level and put the dirt one level down, which means this little bit of the floor here is going to have to drop down one. I think it's going to look okay. I'm confident this is going to look okay. So that's the job for today then. I'm going to rip all this out and then we'll work on the unloading area, because this works slightly differently. The carrot and potato farms work differently to the wheat farm. The wheat farm relies on the farmer having a full inventory of seeds and always wanting to collect the crops, although not being able to pick them up. That's how the wheat farm works. The carrot and potato farm is going to use the mechanic that farmers cannot plant on blocks that have got a light level of 7 or below. So this corner, these 4 blocks are going to have a light level of 6 here and then 7 here. So any crops the farmer tries to plant here are going to pop straight out of the ground, and we're going to have a minecart underneath them which is going to pick up these crops. When he's run out of crop, or when he gets down to a certain level of crops in his inventory, he's going to need to go and replenish. He'll go off around the farm planting and harvesting and planting and harvesting and planting and harvesting as he normally would, and then he'll realise that the area in the corner has got nothing planted in it, it'll come back over again, try and plant again, and then the crops will pop out and get sucked away into our chests. And that's the mechanic that is going to make this farm work. So let me rip all of this out, rip this out, put most of the dirt, that's it, throws the dirt, most of the dirt down and the water, and then we'll work on this little corner here, and hopefully I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so now we've got that sorted out. The water's going to go in, obviously, in here, and they're going to be covered by lily pads. And you wouldn't believe it, would you? I knew I was going to be building this farm, so I only bought 5 lily pads. So that means another trip over to the swamp, because I don't want Ron giving me a hard time again about not putting lily pads on there. So, yeah, remind me before the end of the video to go back and make sure I get some lily pads. Right, I need some rails. Get a couple of rails. I need a couple of hopper mine carts, so I'm going to need a couple of these things, and I'm going to need a couple of panes of I'm going to need 2 panes of glass. So over here we need to stick down, we need to put mine carts on there and then force the dirt down over the top of them. So I'm going to need one of them, and I'm going to need one of them as well. Probably better using redstone blocks rather than levers. Right, now where were we? Right, so we need some rails. Right, so we needed that. This is where I'm going to lose these. So we've done that. We needed to put 2 down because I need them facing that way. If you put 2 down like that, they'll just snap together. So I needed to make sure that they snapped the right way. And then we need to get the panes of glass in there. This is going to get the mine carts exactly in the middle. If you don't push them into the middle, then sometimes the crops are going to drop on here and not get picked up. And it can be a pain. And then we need to get our hopper mine carts. One there and one there, and push them into the middle. Push them until they butt up against the glass. And then we can break these rails here. And the glass. All of this is going to fall down into the chest down the bottom, so don't worry about losing it. Now we need to force some dirt down on top of those blocks, and to do that we're just going to use the pistons. So if we grab a couple of pistons, I didn't want them to do that. Did you see that? Yeah. And now I can't pick up that piston. Like that. Grab the redstone and just force it down onto the minecart rails. If you leave your minecart rails in there by mistake, or you leave your glass in there by mistake, nothing's going to happen. So if your pistons won't move, it's because you've either got your glass in there or your rails still in there. And then you want to do the same for this side. Like that. That there, that there. That there, that there. So now, and a lot of you probably know this because it's something I've used frequently when I've been building my farms. Tutorial on my website if you need to look at it. It's very good. So now, we don't need that one either. That one, that one, that one, and that one. You see, if they fall right in the corner, it'll be a bit of a problem because, oh no, maybe we'll get away with it. But if you see there, as soon as you throw something onto those blocks, it gets sucked in, and it's sucked in quick enough that the farmer's not able to pick it up. And then you can hear the dropper clicking down the bottom as it spits it out onto the rails. So now once I till this farmland, the farmer's not going to be able to plant on here. But before you start tilling it, you need to check the light levels. So we need to F3 it. Currently the light level here is 10 because obviously these lights around here. So now it's 6, 6, 6, 7, which is perfect. I need it to be 6 or 7 around here. But before I do that, I need to put a roof on, because the lighting needs to be in the roof. So let me just stick a roof on this bad boy, and then we'll be back in a second to work out the lighting for the corner. Okay, so we've stuck the ceiling on, we've put the lighting in place, and now if we stand in this corner and F3, we can see that the lighting on this block is 6, this block is 7, 7 and 7. So nothing is going to grow in this corner. Every time he plants it, it won't pop out straight away. And the reason for having more than one block, you might think, well, why don't you just have one block and you can just stand there and keep planting? Because the crop only pops out of the ground when there's a random update, or the block next to it is given an update, then if you only had one block there, it would plant it and then it wouldn't pop out until it received another update. So it could take 20 seconds for it to pop out. If you've got 2 blocks side by side, he'll plant there and then he'll plant next to it, and then that block will cause that block to have an update and that crop will pop out. And then he'll go back and plant on that one, and that one will pop out, and then he'll go back and plant on this one, and this one will pop out. And the reason, I mean, you could get away with only having 2 blocks, but for symmetry and the fact that it looks better, I'm just a big symmetrical fan, I wanted the 4 in the corner. So it's going to plant, he's going to get annoyed, he's going to run out of crops, he's going to walk off, he's going to pick up some more carrots, he's going to come back again after a little while and forget that you can't plant there, and he's going to try again. So, just in case you were wondering why I've got more than one block there, that's why, because one block on its own isn't very efficient. So now the job is to cover the rest of the ceiling with lighting. I'm going to try, normally I just lob the lights in 3 or 4 spaces apart, but what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and put that sort of similar design in that corner, and then in that, and then in that. The only difference being, I'm going to have to put a bit of glowstone right in the corner everywhere else, because obviously I don't want there to be dark spaces in every corner. And then we'll grab a bit of ice, we'll put the ice down, we'll plant this, and then we'll try and get, well, I say we'll try and get, it's going to be an easy job to get one of those guys straight into this farm, because we've already got the tracks down here. Happy days. Right, so that's the lighting in. I just want to give it one last check before we get the villager in. So 6, 7, 6, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, and the rest of it should never get down below, yeah, 8. 8, perfect. Let's get rid of that, and then we'll lob some ice. Great stuff. Right, now let's go and grab that farmer. Welcome to your new home, fella. And get rid of that and put a bit of glass in. Now the beauty of this farm, I think I mentioned it before a while ago, the beauty of this farm rather than the wheat farm is that this farm you don't need to pre-fill the farmer's inventory before you stick him in here. So now he's in, there's no way for him to get out, is there? Not now. Now he's in, I can open him up and I can throw him some carrots. I suppose I'm going to have to break these. I was hoping that the light underneath them would turn them into water. Clearly not. There's some of them. So if I start turning these into water now, hopefully, if I turn these into farmland first, the ones in this corner, he'll probably come over and start planting in there. Actually, he'll only do, because the breeder's there, he'll only do in this sort of 30-odd block, 32 block area. But you don't want to be hoeing the farmland in the corner first, because if he starts planting on there, he's just going to waste all of his crops. So we'll start in this corner so he can get going. And also, I've said this about the other farm as well. I'm currently in Java 1.12. This won't work in Bedrock at the moment because of the simple reason that under here we've got the lighting for the farm below. And as soon as you turn this into farmland, on the Bedrock edition, farmland is translucent and the light from the farm below comes through, and that will make these blocks higher than light level 7. So if we were on Bedrock now, they would, the lighting underneath there would cause these blocks to be higher than light level 7. So this farm won't work unless you have no lighting underneath the farmland. If you have no lighting underneath the farmland, this works perfectly well. These guys farm amazingly quickly in Bedrock. I mean, they are super farmers in Bedrock. So just bear that in mind if you're building this in Bedrock. It will work as long as you don't have lighting underneath the farmland. So that's it. So he's off and running now, and he'll plant pretty much most of what he's got. He won't plant it all because he'll never run completely out of food. But he'll carry on planting there until he's run out of what he can plant. And then we'll have to wait for this to grow. If you want to speed this up, you need to start throwing him some carrots. But I don't have a load of them, so I'm just going to have to wait for these to grow and him to farm. So my final job in this farm before it's finished is I need to go and get some lily pads. Keep Ron happy. And then have I just... Yeah, you see, I've just flattened that bit of farmland. Dagnabbit. And grab some more dark oak. So I'll run off and grab some lily pads. And then I'll pop back in a second. And then I'll probably just sit around waiting for this to grow to see how well he's doing. Okay, so I've got my lily pads. And I can't get up my ladders. Oh my word. Oh, this is turning into an absolute disaster. Grab my lily pads. Went out again while it was dark. Just because I can. Have you noticed as well that lily pads always face a different way? I don't know how they orientate themselves, but they always face a different way. Interesting. Or maybe not. Depends how you look at it. So that's that done. I need to get rid of all of these. Where's my axe? Should I put glass on this level as well? I probably should, shouldn't I? If I put glass there, then you'll be able to see him as you're walking by. Yeah, good idea. Right, I'm going to put that glass... Oh, while I'm up here, have a look at this. Before I do that, because I can do that off camera. Since I've been doing that, and it's not taken me too long, look at these. Weaponsmiths, librarians, go on, give me a mending, villager. Go on. Silk touch for 9. Oh my word. Mwah! It's a shame you aren't going to be speaking to your mate there for very much longer. Silk touch for 9. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Look at that. And I've only thrown them, I don't know, 2 or 3 stacks of carrots. And already we've got almost an entire row. Oh, we have. One more and we've got an entire run. Then hopefully we'll start seeing them go round and round, because I've not tested that yet. That could get embarrassing if that doesn't work. Let's throw that in there. Right, where was I before I interrupted myself? Oh yeah. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Where did you come from, fella? Where in here is too dark? I'm going to have to do a recce. I'll do a recce round to see which areas are too dark. Because we don't want those bad boys getting in here, do we? Right, I'm putting glass in here. Back in a second. Brilliant. There you go. Farm done. And that window being that high up does help. It's well, you can see in. That's fantastic. So now we've just got to wait for those carrots to grow and him to do a bit of farming. But I'm going to leave the breeder on just for a little while longer. Oh, I need to put... What did I do with my fence gate? I need to put a fence gate back there again or something, don't I? To stop mobs getting in there. If we've got zombies walking around. Because it does look like we've got a few dark spaces. So anyway, I'm going to AFK for a little bit and hopefully see how much planting he does. Okay, so they've grown and been harvested a few times now, and as we suspected, because the breeder is just there, only this corner is within the radius of the village. So that's all he's been planting and farming and planting and farming. So consequently, we haven't got any carrots yet downstairs because he's not planted anything in that corner. However, while I've been waiting, we've had a few more villagers. So we are now full up. So we need to start getting rid of some of these bad boys. And what I'm thinking of doing is, I mentioned the other day that I'm going to have some kind of mechanism in here that sorts out the farmers. He's a fisherman, so I don't necessarily need to trade with him. But because he's a brown coat, because he's a farmer... Man, I could hear zombies then. Because he's a farmer, I could use him in the farm, so I might not want to kill him. So I want him to go off somewhere else. Whereas the rest of the guys, obviously the green coats, possibly, the leather workers, I can possibly use him with the cows, don't know. Farmer, if you've got a decent pumpkin trade, you can stay. But anyway, I'm going to need to dispose of some of them. And I was thinking of how to get rid of villagers in the most amusing way. Because, you know, getting rid of villagers it's got to be an amusing thing to do, isn't it? Can't be a somber thing. And because we're in a mansion and we've got vindicators piled up in storage, I was thinking that we could probably put a glass wall here and have the villagers shot into the area via some kind of slime gun thing. So they'll shoot in and bounce around a little bit and then and get chased around by Johnny behind a glass screen. So I'm going to work on that idea because I think that's going to be fun. And I was kind of hoping we'd have another baby before we went today, because it would have been nice to see if the rails above the top actually worked and the villagers do go round and round. But I don't have any carrots and it looks like they've run out of food, so that might not happen unless I push one of these in there. I could push one of you in there, couldn't I? Just to see if it works. Let's push one of you in there just to see if it works. You're easier to push around when you're in a minecart. I'll tell you that for nothing. I'm still making odd work of it though, aren't I? Maybe I'll just fast forward this bit. Don't want you going back the wrong way either. That's better. That's good. That's good. Oh. I'm trying to open a gate when there's a pressure plate and pressure plate. That still doesn't sound right, pressure plate. When there's a pressure plate in front of it. It didn't work. So now hopefully they'll go around and fall back down there. The reason I didn't have them coming straight out of that block there, straight onto this block and falling down, is because the minecart, at the moment the minecart's facing the way that the water's running. If the minecart was facing sort of this way, was facing east to west at a perpendicular angle to the water, when they get to the middle... Come on fella, come on. Where are you, little dude? There he is, little dude. And the not so little dude. Now is they're not quite pointing straight down, so hopefully they won't get stuck there. If they were facing this way, he'd get stuck. He's going straight over. Actually, because they're at an angle, they might actually go straight over. Actually, that's a bit of a bonus, something I hadn't foreseen. But that's brilliant. What I'm going to do now then, finally, last thing, is I'm going to turn the breeder off for the time being, because there's no point in keeping it on when I don't have carrots in there for them to breed anyway. But I need this guy to be farming. So let's just turn this off. I'll make some proper steps up there sooner or later. So 60 seconds, that's going to be off. And this guy is going to start farming. Brilliant. So now the village is no longer there. He's off and running. So hopefully the next time you see me, or the next time you visit the mansion, we're going to have a few carrots in order to be able to start breeding again. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to call it a day for today again, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. For the next episode, you'll have to tell me, do you want me to start working on the villager disposal area, or would you like me to start building a mob farm somewhere in the mansion? Just give me an idea. I'm open to suggestions, so if you can let me know in the comments what you'd prefer me to start working on next, I'd much appreciate it. So again, thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to leave it a like, and if you really loved it, don't forget to subscribe for future videos. This is Frilioth, and I'm out of here.